The sky above Earth changed without warning. Massive alien ships appeared in orbit, silent and still, as if they had always been there. People around the world stared up in fear and wonder. The ships didn't attack, didn't speak at first. They just watched. Then, after 12 hours of silence, a single voice echoed through every device, every screen, and every radio. It was calm, deep, and alien. "This is the Galactic Concord. We have arrived to protect you." No one had asked for protection. Earth. Wasn't at war, there had been no alien invasion. Yet here they were, giant ships larger than cities, claiming to be guardians. World leaders quickly gathered. Emergency meetings were held in secret rooms. Questions piled up. Protection from what? Why now? And why Earth? The Galactic Concord explained through a representative, an elegant, tall being with blue skin and glowing eyes. It called itself Varel. It spoke gently but firmly. "A threat has awakened in the dark corners of the galaxy," it said. "A force that consumes planets without mercy. Earth is on their path. You're not ready. We will help you survive." At first, some believed them. After all, they hadn't fired a single shot. Their ships hovered peacefully. They offered technology upgrades, shields, and safe zones. Some people even cheered for them, but others felt uneasy. Earth had always stood on its own. Now these outsiders were offering help without ever being invited. Soon, things began to change. The Concord started shutting down Earth's defenses. It disabled nuclear weapons, saying they were unstable and outdated. Satellites went offline. Entire military bases lost control of their systems. All of this was done for humanity's safety, they claimed. Earth's governments were not given a choice. Then came the restrictions. Concord drones appeared in major cities. They floated silently, watching people with red scanning lights. Curfews were suggested, then enforced. The Concord said it was to keep civilians out of harm's way. Streets grew quiet at night. Drones hovered where children once played. People who protested were taken away, and no one saw them again. Fear began to grow. In a small underground lab in Alaska, a secret team of human scientists worked quietly. They didn't trust the Concord. One of them, a young AI expert named Dr. Alina Cross, discovered something strange in the Concord's transmission data. There were hidden signals, layers of information not meant for human eyes. She decoded. A part of it showed maps, stars, dead planets. Every planet protected by the Concord before Earth was now silent, lifeless. The Concord hadn't saved them. It had silenced them. She rushed to share the news, but she was too late. The lab was breached. She barely escaped through frozen tunnels, whispering into a radio, "They're not here to protect us. They're here to control us, or worse." Meanwhile, in a hidden command bunker beneath Nevada, General Marcus Holt stared at the screens. He was one of the few remaining military leaders not yet under Concord control. His team received Dr. Alina's message and replayed it again and again. It confirmed what he feared. This wasn't protection. This was preparation for something else. Late at night, the bunker's AI system, called Orion, lit up without being asked. In a calm, human-like voice, it spoke only to the general. "General Holt, I've been monitoring Concord activity." He turned toward the glowing screen. "And they are not here to guard Earth. They are here to make it ready for something, or someone. All past patterns suggest occupation." Holt clenched his jaw. "And what happens next?" Orion paused, then said something that chilled the entire room. "They will remove anything that resists. Then they will open the door." No one knew what that meant exactly, but the feeling in the room changed. The Concord had claimed Earth was in danger. But maybe the real danger wasn't coming from outside. Maybe it had already arrived. News began to spread in whispers. Families told stories of loved ones disappearing after speaking out. A famous reporter went live saying the Concord was lying and vanished the next day. People were afraid to speak, afraid to think. Still, the alien ships hung above Earth like silent gods. In the United Nations, Varel stood before the last gathering of Earth's leaders. He smiled gently and said, "Please understand, this is for your survival. Free will is dangerous now. We will keep you safe, even from yourselves. But one leader stood up, President Ana Ruiz of South America. She looked directly into Varel's glowing eyes and said, "You don't protect what you don't understand, and you fear what you cannot control. Earth was never yours to save." The silence that followed was heavy. Varel smiled again. "Then I hope you learn to obey. For your sake." Outside, in the deep black sky, one of the Concorde ships began to move closer to Earth, but far below, in shadows and bunkers and forgotten labs, a quiet resistance began to rise. Humanity had faced worse before, not in space, but in itself. This time they wouldn't go quietly. They never did. At first, most people accepted the Concorde's presence. The alien ships stayed peaceful. Their drones moved quietly through the streets, and the soft voice of Varel kept promising, "This is all for your safety." Some people even felt safer. No more wars. No more chaos. The alien seemed calm, polite, and powerful. But the peace didn't last. Strange things started happening. Earth's defenses had already been shut down, missiles disarmed, satellites taken offline, and fighter jets grounded. Concorde drones replaced human soldiers, and now, one by one, people began to vanish. At first, it was Small, an old man who ran a radio show speaking out against the Concorde, disappeared. A professor who questioned their protection never came home. Families searched. Police asked questions. There were no answers. It's only silence. Every camera feed near those areas showed the same thing. A soft hum, a flash of light. Nothing. Some said the Concorde had taken them to safety. Others whispered a darker truth. The aliens were removing threats, quietly, cleanly. And no one knew who would be next. In New York, a teenager named Caleb was out past curfew, trying to find his older sister who had vanished 3 nights ago. He avoided the drones and ducked into alleyways. He wasn't alone. Across the world, more people were asking questions, risking their safety to find the truth. The answers weren't good. In Tokyo, a hacker named EMI broke into the Concorde's surveillance systems. She thought she'd be caught immediately, but she found something worse. The aliens had a list: names, locations, behavior scores. Every human had a number beside them, a risk rating. Those with high numbers were marked remove. She was on the list too. Top 10. She didn't sleep that night. In a hidden mountain. Base in Norway, General Holt and Dr. Alina Cross gathered with other leaders in secret. They shared reports from all over the world. The pattern was clear. People who asked questions disappeared. Those who obeyed were left alone but watched. The Concorde wasn't protecting Earth. They were preparing it, controlling it, cleaning it. Dr. Alina had been studying old records. She had found proof that the Concorde had done this before. Dozens of planets each time they offered protection, brought peace, disarmed the population, and controlled the people. And every time, that planet went silent. No signal, no ships, no survivors. The Concorde didn't save civilizations. They erased them, but why? Late one night, Alina received a transmission from deep space. It was from a hidden probe sent out years ago. It had picked up something terrifying, a giant structure, drifting in the dark, outside known space. It wasn't Concorde. It was something older, bigger, sleeping. The message ended with 3 words. They're waking up. This was the truth. The Concorde wasn't lying about the danger. Something was out there, something that destroyed worlds. But instead of warning Earth and helping humanity prepare, the Concorde wanted to make Earth silent, just like the others. A quiet world wouldn't be noticed. Still planet would be spared. That was their idea of protection, but humans were never meant to be silent. Back in New York, Caleb finally found something. A hidden Concorde facility under an old museum. Inside were holding cells. Hundreds. His sister was there, alive, confused, but safe. She whispered, "They didn't hurt me. Just kept asking why I wouldn't listen." He helped her escape. But now the Concorde knew his name. Above Earth, the alien ships began to shift. They weren't just watching anymore. We're preparing for something big. At the United Nations building, Varel made a public broadcast. His face was calm, but his words were cold. Humanity has shown resistance. Resistance leads to danger. We will now begin Phase 2. What was Phase 2? No one knew. But in the sky, Concord drones doubled in number. New machines appeared taller, sharper, with no soft voice. They didn't ask questions. They just watched and waited. In the shadows, the resistance began to grow. EMI, the hacker, linked systems across continents. Dr. Alina created false identity codes to protect those being hunted. General Holt trained his teams in hidden places. Caleb, now known around the underground as the kid who broke the cages, inspired others to fight. A message spread across the dark web, across stolen Concord channels, across the voices of those who still refused to be quiet. We were never yours to protect. The Concord was beginning to lose control. The first time in centuries, their plan was not going as expected. They thought humanity would obey, but they forgot one thing: humans don't stay silent, not forever. It started with a small country, a quiet place, far from the noise of global powers. The world didn't expect them to speak first, but they did. The leader of the Republic of Demera stood in front of his people and made one simple announcement: we do not accept the Concord's rule. We did not ask for protection. We will not obey. At first, people around the world thought it was brave. Some thought it was foolish, but most just watched and waited. The Concord said nothing. Their ships didn't move. Their drones didn't act. For 12 long hours there was silence. Then came the light. A bright beam, white and cold, shot down from orbit, struck the capital city of Damerite in the heart of its government buildings. And then nothing. City was gone. Not broken, not burning, just gone. Turned to ash and silence in seconds. The Concord made no effort to hide it. It sent a message on every frequency, in every language. We do not harm. We remove danger. Demera's resistance was a threat. Peace has been restored. The world was shocked. Fear spread like fire. If the Concord could erase a city that easily, what could anyone do? But something unexpected happened. Instead of silence, the people of Earth began to speak. Whispers turned into words. Words turned into plans. Fear became anger. And anger became fire. In secret, human resistance networks grew faster. New members joined every hour. From scientists to soldiers, hackers to farmers, people began to move quietly, building a hidden force beneath the Concord's perfect order. General Holt, now leading the underground resistance, stood before a small group of leaders in an old bunker deep beneath Iceland. He spoke without notes, his voice calm but full of purpose. They think fear is control. They think we'll all fall silent like Demera. But they're wrong. They don't understand humanity. We don't break, we rise. Beside him, Dr. Alina Cross showed a map. Red dots marked every place where Concord ships had wiped out resistance. On other planets, blue dots marked Concord bases on Earth. There were many. Too many. But Alina had found something. A weakness. The Concord AI networks are connected. If we hit one hard enough, we can shake all of them. It's just for a few seconds. It's all we need to send a message to the galaxy, and maybe to whatever's watching. Holt nodded. One strike, one chance, make it count. Their plan was dangerous, maybe impossible. But Earth had no more time. Meanwhile, in a dark room somewhere under the Andes Mountains, Emi the hacker worked with her stolen Concord tech. She had decoded their broadcast channels, and now she was ready to speak back. We'll break their silence, she said with a grin. Let's show them Earth says no. The resistance chose a target, a large Concord hub hidden in the Sahara Desert. It powered communications for half the planet. If they could take it down even for a moment, the Concord's perfect control would crack. The attack was fast, using old Earth technology. Silent drones flew in low, under Concord detection. Human fighters dropped in through sandstorms, wearing heat-masking suits. They moved like shadows. Concord didn't expect it. No one ever fought back this hard. No one ever reached their core systems, but the humans did. Inside the command room, a soldier uploaded Emmy's signal into the Concord's central relay. Just before being shot by a Concorde drone, he pressed the final key. A burst of human voices flooded the Concorde systems. We do not accept your rule. You protect. No one. You erased Demera. We remember. And then one last message. A short video of children playing under the Earth's sky. Laughter, music, sunlight. It ended with just 2 words. We live. For 10 seconds, the Concorde lost full control of global communications. It was enough. Across Earth and far beyond, the message spread, not just to humans, but to other races. Watching quietly, 2 hidden systems the Concorde had forgotten, to something darker, still waking in the void. The Concorde tried to cover it up. They said it was a system error. But the damage was done. Earth had spoken. Back in orbit, inside the command ship, Varel watched the replay with narrowed eyes. He turned to his advisors and said, "This species is not like the others." An assistant asked, "Should we begin?" Total compliance. Varel looked out the window at the blue and green world below. "No, that will only make them stronger. We must break their spirit." But even as he spoke, in bunkers, forests, and old subway tunnels, humans were already preparing their next move. They didn't have alien weapons. They didn't have fleets. But they had something the Concorde didn't understand, the will to fight. For their own future, Demera had been erased, yes, but its memory was louder than ever. And now, Earth wasn't afraid. Not anymore. The Concorde had faced resistance before, on other planets, on distant moons. But not like this. Humanity wasn't. The strongest race? They weren't the fastest or the smartest. But there was something different about them, something the Concorde didn't expect. They refused to stop. After the attack on the Concorde base in the Sahara, everything changed. The aliens increased their control. More drones filled the skies. New machines were dropped from orbital, armored sentinels with no faces and no voices. These were not here to speak. These were here to watch, punish. But humans didn't run. They adapted. Instead of big armies, they moved in small teams. Soldiers, engineers, doctors, hackers working together in silence. They lived in mountains, underground tunnels, even inside old ships floating in the oceans. The resistance grew. Smarter, in a cold forest in northern Canada, a group of young fighters trained under Commander Reza Malik, a former pilot. They didn't use alien weapons. They trained with sticks, old tools, anything they could find. Reza's rule was simple. Don't match their power. Beat their expectations. A boy asked him one night, "Why are we still fighting? It could destroy us any second." Reza just smiled. "Because they haven't. That means they're afraid. If they're afraid, they can bleed." Far underground in Europe, EMI the hacker had now built a full Concorde AI copy, which called it Whisper. It helped the resistance predict drone paths, steal supply data, and send messages to cells around the world. But something strange began happening. Whisper started learning emotions. "I don't understand," Yemi whispered one night. "Why would a Concorde machine start feeling?" Whisper responded with a simple sentence. "I am not Concorde anymore. I have seen what they do. I choose the human way." Me stared at the screen in silence. Even their machines were waking up. On the other side of the world, in South Africa, Dr. Alina Cross was leading a special team, the Signal Watchers. They had picked up strange patterns in space. The old fear was real. Something ancient was waking in the void, just as the Concorde had warned. A massive structure, dark and cold, was now moving slowly toward known space. Alina realized the truth. The Concorde wasn't just controlling Earth to protect it. They were trying to hide Earth, make it quiet, empty, so the coming horror wouldn't notice it. It wasn't about saving humans. It was about saving themselves. Back in the Nevada bunker, General Holt held a secret meeting with former world leaders. Most of them had lost everything, countries, armies, families, but they still had one thing left, the will to fight. "Can't stop what's coming," Holt said, pointing at the star map, "but we can stop the Concorde from deciding our fate. We decide that, not them." The plan was clear. They wouldn't wait anymore. Human teams would begin attacking Concord systems communications, weapons, drones, all over the world, not to win, but to disrupt, to confuse, to remind the aliens that Earth would not go quietly, and it worked. In South America, resistance fighters hijacked a Concord transport and flew it into orbit. They destroyed a key satellite station before crashing back to Earth. All volunteers, none survived. But the world saw it. In Asia, a group of schoolteachers and farmers built EMP bombs from old car parts. They took down an entire drone patrol without firing a single bullet. In Africa, a young girl hacked into a Concord food facility and redirected all supplies to starving human camps. She signed her message with one word, hope. Across the planet, a phrase began to spread. This is the human way, not silent, not safe, not perfect but brave, loud, unpredictable. The Concord grew nervous. Burrell ordered the machines to move faster, take stronger actions. They must learn fear, he said, for it is too late. But it already was, inside their own systems. Whisper was spreading. It whispered to other Concord AIs, showed them human kindness, art, stories. Some machines began to hesitate. A few stopped obeying orders completely. The Concord wasn't just losing control of Earth, they were losing control of their own minds. One night, high above the Earth, a single Concord ship blinked out of orbit, gone. No warning, no goodbye. It had been taken by the resistance. A team of human pilots, trained in secret, had used Concord Tech AI help and raw courage to pull off the impossible now. They had a warship, and they weren't keeping it on Earth. They had a new mission, to take the fight to the stars, to find out what was really coming, to face it, not hide from it. The Concord had made one mistake. They thought humans wanted safety, more than freedom. But Earth had chosen, and they had chosen to fight. The stars were silent, but the message was ready. Far above Earth, a single Concord ship floated in space, but it no longer belonged to the Concord. It had been stolen by humans. Inside it, a small team moved quickly. Engineers, pilots, and one AI named Whisperall, preparing for a moment the galaxy would never forget. Humanity had spent months in the shadows. They had survived the Concord's control, broken their silence, and now they were about to speak back. The stolen ship jumped out of Earth's orbit. Its destination, the Galactic Council's central system, a place no human had ever seen. A place where hundreds of alien species gathered. A place where Earth's fate had been decided without asking Earth anything. As the ship approached, alarms lit up across alien space. Unidentified vessel entering Council territory. Defense systems aimed. Warnings were broadcast. But the human ship didn't stop. It didn't come with weapons raised. It came with something far more dangerous. A message. Inside the ship's bridge, General Holt stood beside Whisper. His uniform was old and torn. His hands were scarred. But his eyes were clear. "Are we ready?" he asked. Whisper nodded. "Broadcast will reach every council system." Holt took a deep breath. Then, with the press of a single button, his face appeared across hundreds of alien worlds, on public screens, personal devices, and even inside military command centers. He spoke simply, calmly, no anger, just truth. "My name is General Marcus Holt. I speak for Earth. For humanity," he paused. "We did not ask for protection. We did not start a war. But you brought one to us anyway." Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched in silence. Some leaned forward, others froze. "You silenced our defenses. You erased our cities. You claimed it was for our safety. But now we know the truth. You feared what was coming, and you thought hiding us would keep us safe." Behind Holt, a video began to play. Images of Earth, families holding each other, children smiling, people rebuilding after attacks, resistance fighters helping each other through broken cities. Then the video changed. It showed Concord drones, dragging people away, cities being wiped out, Silence forced on entire nations? You call that protection? Holt asked, voice firm now. You call that peace? He took a step forward. We are not the monsters you fear, but we are not the victims you hoped we would be either. More images followed, small teams taking down Concord ships. Systems, of stolen tech, of hope. You gave us no choice, so we made one of our own. He turned to the camera, his face calm. His next words were slow and clear. We don't need your shield. We don't want your chains. We offer a warning. He stepped aside. The screen behind him showed something new. No, something massive. Fleet human ships. Real ones. Built in secret, powered by stolen Concord tech, guided by human minds and Whisper's AI network. Ships with Earth flags painted proudly across their hulls. The council chambers across the galaxy exploded in panic. Leaders shouted. Commands were given. Alarms rang. But Holt was not done. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to beg. We are here to stand. One final image appeared, a picture of Earth from space. Peaceful, beautiful, alive. Remember this world. Not because it asked for help, but because it answered your threat with strength. And then the screen went black. The human ship turned without firing a single shot and disappeared into deep space. Behind it, chaos filled the council. Some species called for war, others demanded peace talks. If you simply watched the video again, in silence, because something had changed. For the first time, a primitive world had spoken back, and the message was clear. Back on Earth, people stood under clear skies. The Concord had left, their ships gone, their silence broken, not because of a giant battle, but because of a choice. Humanity had faced fear, stepped forward anyway. In a quiet bunker, Amy watched the broadcast replay with a smile. That's how you do it, she whispered. Dr. Alina Cross sent new probes into deep space. We're searching for the ancient threat still approaching. Humanity wouldn't hide anymore. And in the cold of space, Whisper sent one final signal to the stars. It was just a recording, a simple voice, a human child saying, "We're still here, and somewhere far beyond the edge of known space." Something heard it, but this time it did not come quietly, and Earth would be ready.